Hello, I'm Dr. Katie Jones with Georgia Southern University Counseling Center. Today I'm going to be talking with you about distress tolerance skills, also known as crisis survival skills. We are going to briefly talk about dialectical behavior therapy, which is a type of therapy that distress tolerance skills originate from, as well as learn some skills that will help us better tolerate our distress. And then we will review some skills that you probably are already using to give yourself some credit where credit is due. So very briefly, dialectical behavior therapy is a type of therapy based on creating a life worth living. It's based on acceptance skills and change skills. And the cool thing about dialectical behavior therapy is that a dialect is the idea that everything is connected to everything else, that change is constant and inevitable, and that opposites can be integrated to form a closer approximation to the truth. And what's so cool about that is acceptance and change are opposites in itself, and they're the basis for the skills of DBT. Today, we're going to be talking about an acceptance-based skill, distress tolerance, but the other acceptance-based skill is mindfulness. And the two change skills are emotion regulation and interpersonal effectiveness. Distress tolerance skills, also known as crisis survival skills, they help us reach the goal, which is to get through a crisis without making it worse. The idea is reality acceptance, which is the idea that pain and distress are a part of life. Unfortunately, we cannot prevent pain and distress, difficult things from happening in our life. However, we can learn skills to help us get through those difficult times without making things worse. Short-term distress is necessary for attempts to change ourselves. Radical acceptance is also part of distress tolerance, and that's the idea that if we can find a way to completely and with total openness face the facts of reality as they are, without throwing a tantrum, responding ineffectively, without making things worse, that this can help us build skills to help with a life worth living and help us be more effective in the difficulties that life brings. So today we are going to discuss STOP, pros and cons, tips, accepts, self-soothing, and improve. First off is the skill STOP. You've probably heard this in some capacity before, but it's the general idea of if you can, for 1 minute, just stop. Don't react. Try to stay in control. Try to take a step back. Take a deep breath. Don't act impulsively. Then observe, what are you feeling and thinking? What are others saying or doing? What is going on in the environment? Then proceed mindfully. Think about your goals and actions. Think about what do you need in the situation? What's going to make things worse? What could help you get through this situation better? Another one is pros and cons. I really love this one. I think a lot of us learn pros and cons as like a two-pronged list. What are the pros and cons of a situation? I highly encourage you to start using the four-square model. This is the idea that what are the pros and cons of doing a problem behavior versus not doing a problem behavior? Another way of putting that is what are the pros and cons of acting on a crisis urge versus resisting that crisis urge? So if you take a moment to think about for yourself, what is that problem behavior or urge that you typically fall into when you're in crisis? For some people, it's using substances, self-harming, emotionally acting out, being aggressive or violent. For other people, it could be impulsive behaviors like spending, risky sexual behaviors, overeating. So whatever that problem behavior is for you, thinking for a moment, what are the pros of doing that problem behavior, giving into that crisis urge? What are the cons of doing that problem behavior, giving into that crisis urge? And then also, what are the pros of not doing that problem behavior? What are the pros of not giving into that crisis urge? And then what are the cons of not doing that problem behavior, not getting into that crisis urge? So what I'd love to challenge you to do is to pull out an index card or a piece of paper on your own pause this video, because I'm going to keep going, but pause the video and write these down for yourself. Make that 4-square list, because if you can go ahead and write it out before an overwhelming crisis urge hits and keep it with you, then you're more likely to use it when you actually need it. We actually often talk about when we're in true crisis, there's often a skills breakdown where we're less able to use our skills because it takes mental energy to think of them and to use them. So if you can go ahead and have them written down and keep them with you, then you're more likely to use it when you need it. Then when an urge hits, review it, read it, and also reflect on, imagine the positive consequences if you don't act on that urge. Think of the negative consequences of when you've given in the past, or if you were to give in. Remind yourself of those things before you make a decision about how you move forward. TIP is one of my favorite skills. It's the idea that we can change our body chemistry with a couple of small skills, and these are a couple of examples of them. So one skill that you can use to change your body chemistry, which can help you change your emotion, is to tip the temperature of your face with cold water. Hold your breath, put your face in a bowl of cold water, hold cold pack to your eyes and your cheeks, something like that for about 30 seconds. Don't freeze yourself out. Keep the water above 50 degrees. But TIP is a really great example. It elicits the diver's response, so it decreases blood flow to non-essential organs. Intense exercise or paced breathing or muscle relaxation are also great TIP strategies as well. Just doing a small burst of exercise, jogging in place, doing some jumping jacks. It could be something as simple as that, can help change your body chemistry as well. Accepts is a distress tolerance skill used to help us temporarily distract from an unpleasant emotion. Now, again, as a therapist, I'm going to tell you, we don't want you to distract yourself from your problems forever. That's not the point. We definitely want you to consider engaging in therapy, doing things to help you get to the bottom of what's going on, and working to help, again, acceptance and change, find some things that you need to accept, and then work on the things that you can change. However, we can't do work and be helpful and productive until we get ourselves out of the crisis and decrease our emotionality to get to a place where we can problem solve and think through things. So we want to temporarily distract ourselves to help decrease our emotionality. And there are all sorts of ideas related to accepts. Finding activities such as sports, watching a certain movie or TV show, listening to music, finding an event, reading, playing games, finding some type of activity to pull you out, to distract you for a little bit. Contributing to others. So reaching out to a friend just to say hi, to check in with them, not for the point of then to discuss your crisis. It's really to focus for a little bit on someone else, to focus externally. Volunteer opportunity, being thoughtful, surprising someone else, helping a friend, something like that. Another one is compare. Compare this to a different person, time, or situation. So take a moment to compare how you feel now to a time where you felt worse or felt better. Think about people that are coping the same as you, or maybe less well than you are. Watch a reality show or something where people are in just a very different situation than your own. And maybe it's something that you find gratitude for your own life based on things that other people are going through. Another one is eliciting a different emotion. So watch a scary movie if that's something you're into. Read something funny. Listen to some music that's going to support the mood that you're trying to get to. Don't ever listen to or watch stuff that's the same emotion that you're trying to change. So if you're sad and you don't want to be sad anymore, don't watch a sad movie, don't listen to sad music. Try to watch something funny, something different. Listen to some soothing music or some upbeat music, something like that that can be helpful to you. Pushing away for a moment. So this can be something as simple as try to block the thoughts or images for a moment. If you notice yourself ruminating about it, just say no. Try to put those thoughts on a shelf, trying to do something to push away for a little bit. Similarly, elicit different thoughts or different sensations. So count to 10, repeat words to a song, Name the colors that you see in a room. Something where, watch TV or read, work puzzles, just something that is going to elicit different thoughts. Try to get you out of that cycle of thoughts that you're in that's probably engaging and keeping you feeling like you're in crisis. And last but not least, sensations. Sensations are a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful grounding technique. So using your sensations, you can also self-soothe. It's a way to reduce intensity of negative emotions, and these tap into all 5 of our senses. So find something that works for you. Different things work for different people. It could be sight, changing the lighting, looking at soothing colors, coloring books, having a painting or a picture that you like to look at that helps you calm down and self-soothe. Touch. Some people will keep like a soft stone in their pocket that they can touch, a soft rabbit's foot or something like that. Having a hot or cold shower can be helpful. Using a heated or weighted blanket, something that self-soothes through touch. Another one is sound, listening to calming music, ASMR videos, the sounds of nature, whatever that can be for you. Smell, aromatherapy, lighting a candle, having a comforting smell that you spray and keep on a piece of cloth in your purse or in your belongings. Or taste. Some people will keep a candy that tastes like home or their childhood, or something that's self-soothing. Keeping some peppermints with you to just tap into a different taste or sense. A strong flavor, a warm drink, a tea, a coffee, something like that can be soothing to people sometimes. And last but not least, improve the moment. So this is an acronym, IMPROVE. These are a different group of skills that can help us, again, improve the moment, decrease our distress in a moment. And these can be through imagery. So again, those visual cues of create like a safe and happy place that you can just close your eyes and go to. I'll share mine. When I was a kid, I would close my eyes and imagine that I was at the beach and immerse myself in that scene. I would imagine everything that I saw, from the sun and the seagulls and the sky and the beach, to what I could hear, the seagulls and the waves crashing and children playing in the background, to what I could feel, the sand underneath my toes, the sun beaming on my skin, when I could smell, just that smell of the salt water and maybe the smell of sunscreen and warmth, and what I could taste, maybe the taste of that salt water in that ocean. And I would just take a minute to just imagine and put myself there. Finding meaning in the difficult situation, trying to find purpose in what's happening, trying to focus on a positive perspective of what's going on. Prayer or spirituality, opening our hearts to some sort of supreme being or God, if that is something that's like within your values and belief system, can be really helpful. Relaxation, having a bath, taking a moment to relax, smelling that candle, whatever relaxation looks like for you, having a massage. It can be something as simple as just putting some comfy clothes on and putting your feet up for a minute. One thing at a time. So just trying to focus your attention on one thing in that moment. Maybe going and cleaning something, maybe doing a puzzle that can just focus you in on doing one thing at a time. Taking a brief vacation. So if you have the ability and are able to go off somewhere, just take a little day trip somewhere. Go somewhere peaceful, go into the woods, or go buy some water, take a moment to yourself. It could be also simple as putting a blanket outside and sitting outside for a minute, walking in the rain, something like that. Or it can be as simple as getting in your bed and putting the sheets over your head and turning your cell phone off and just giving yourself an hour to just take a brief vacation to calm down. And last but not least, encouragement. I encourage everyone to have just like a self-affirmation statement that they can use as sort of a go-to. I'm happy to share mine with you. That is, everything is temporary. If you're at the dentist and they're drilling a hole in your tooth, it's temporary, it's temporary, it's temporary. And the happiest moment you've ever experienced in your life, as happy as it is and as fond as that memory is when you think back on it, it was still temporary. Just as the hardest and most difficult moments in your life were also temporary. I'm sure that you feel pain and sadness when you think back on those things, but it is not going to be as salient as it was at that time. And that's something that gives me a lot of peace, is reminding myself that things are temporary. Some other ones that people enjoy are self-statements such as like, this is just a season, this too shall pass, I've got this. Whatever has meaning to you. Some people use Bible verses or song lyrics. Whatever that is for you, having something that you can go to talk to yourself, to remind yourself that although this is difficult, you can get through this. And reminding yourself of how you have gotten through difficult things in the past can be really helpful. So now I just want you to take a minute and think back on all these skills that we've discussed today. I guarantee you there's some skills that you are already doing. And maybe you didn't even think about them in the concept of distress tolerance, but I guarantee you you're already using some of these skills. So take a moment to give yourself credit where credit is due, recognize some of the things that you're already doing to help yourself to try to get through difficult situations. And then what I want you to do is take a minute to think about one skill that we discussed today that you would maybe want to give a try. Something that's a little different, that maybe is a new idea. Something like contributing. Maybe the next time you're in distress, trying to find a way to contribute to someone else. It might be trying to challenge your thoughts, to try to elicit a different thought, to move past a difficult thought. It might be trying a form of self-soothing, thinking back, what are the things that soothe you? What are the things from your background or things that you found more recently that help you get through difficult times? What would it be like to be more planful, to make sure you have those things on hand when you could need them? Trying to improve the moment through any of the techniques that we discussed today. Have a plan for yourself. Take a moment to think, what is something that I could try? And the best thing to do is to practice it when you're not in distress, so you're more likely to use it when you actually need it. So thank you so much for listening in to our skills related to distress tolerance. A reminder that our website is a really, really fabulous place to go for so many different things. We have a lot of self-help resources, online resources. We usually have workshops that are up and running, different services that we offer. If you're a Georgia Southern student, please always feel free to check out our website for more information. As you may or may not know, DBT is based off of Dr. Marsha Linehan. All of the skills that we discussed today are available in her DBT Skills Training Handouts and Workbook, second edition, copyright by Marsha Linehan. Thank you again so much for your time, and we hope you have a great day, and we hope that this was helpful for you and you can use some of these skills.